Whether it's worry sparked by mass shooting threats or just general back-to-school anxiety, your kids may be hesitant to head back to the classroom in a couple of weeks.
Here to tell us how you can talk to your kids through some of those issues is our medical expert, Dr. Mandira Mehra. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a real concern for lots of kids, especially with all of the bad news we've seen lately.
It really is, and I'm sure we remember. We're not that old, or you guys aren't that old, but you know, the first time you go to school, who am I going to sit with at lunch, and how do I get from PE back to science class, and you know, just those regular back-to-school anxieties are very real. And so there are some helpful tips for parents out there that they can take into consideration, really trying to keep ahead of the anxieties is important. So number one, if you know your child's really anxious about something, discussing that with them. You know, what are your anxieties? Not being dismissive of those anxieties, saying don't worry about it, it's going to be fine. Actually addressing them head on and saying, what can we do to discuss your anxieties? And then how can we actually work towards positive suggestions? Also trying to practice, whether it's going to the school, doing a practice run, talking about how they'll get from one class to another. Number three is talking about if those anxieties do occur at school, what do you do? Is it some deep breathing? Is it meditating? Is it actually calling a parent or talking to a teacher about it? And number four is reassuring them that the school is supposed to be a safe place. The teachers are there to help you, your friends are there to help you and support you for the most part, and that just reminding students that school is supposed to be fun and it's for learning, and at the end of the day, some of those anxieties will be there. That's a part of growing up, that's a part of learning, but how do we combat those and stay positive?
Just like anything else, though, it's just important to talk about it, right?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And I know we wanted to touch a little bit about the shooting and how mass shootings are really also affecting kids today going back to school. So on top of all the normal anxieties, they're also combating the back to school kind of mass shootings and the anxieties associated with that. And we also do want to remind parents that oftentimes children will feed off the parents' anxiety. And this is obviously an anxiety-provoking time, but we have some helpful suggestions and tips for parents and kids as well. Number one is, if you do feel overly anxious, of course seeking help, whether it's a doctor, a therapist, a loved one, a rabbi, a pastor, whoever it is, seeking help. Number two, depending on the age of your child, having that difficult conversation. So remember, a lot of schools nowadays, I think most now, are actually having active shooter drills. And so what does that mean? Talking to your child about that ahead of time in a way that's not fearful for them, but almost the way we would talk about a fire drill, is that this is an unlikely event, despite the fact we hear a lot about it on the news, a lot about it on social media. It's still an unlikely event, but it's great to be prepared. So just like anything else, it's great to be prepared. Number two is really talking about if that does happen, we have a plan of action, and that's the most important thing. And of course, ultimately at the end of the day, reminding those students that being at home, talking to the parents about it, that in itself is a safe place. So just telling your child, what anxieties do you have? Have you heard something on social media? Do your friends say something? Have you noticed a friend that maybe seems withdrawn? Or have you noticed red flags? We don't make fun of those kids, we don't bully them, we don't gossip. We reach out to an adult, whether it's a teacher or a parent, and we say, you know, we've noticed these things, let's get help. Like they always say, if you see something, say something.
All right, Dr. Mehra, always helping us out with the great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here.